News report. Last summer a man named Nathaniel Green went missing and was nowhere to be found. Countless searches have been made to find this vanishing man, but about a month ago, around in his home located around the suburban metropolitan area of New York, he was found, dead with abnormal marks, and it seemed he was attacked in his home. There were no signs of forced entry or foul play found in or around the house. Thousands of needle punctures were found around half of his body. They couldn't examine the lower half for it was missing, as if he was torn in half. Amidst the painted crimson walls they found a black notebook that showed what seemed to be in his final moments. Our news report will now read those final moments. If I die before I wake, I pray the Lord my soul to take. Seems kind of ironic now. You probably don't know who I am, or what I've done. I could most likely be some deranged serial killer who would love nothing more than to see you choke on news made of your own intestines or something. Well, I'm not. I was a normal guy with a more than normal and very dull job that I was stuck in. I lived alone and was happy with my quaint life. Suddenly, things got weird. I'm not talking like an awkward moment weird. I mean just completely insane. It started when I woke up a week ago, lazily staring at my blazing alarm. I thrust my body with what little energy I had to turn it off. Then I got myself dressed and headed to my job. I don't have a car, so public transit was the only option of transportation. Walking to my bus stop, I noticed there something that was never there. Silence. Living in New York. You never hear this, so I got a bit tense. I finally made it, but it was, I don't know, empty. More than 20 minutes passed and my bus got there. I got a nasty scowl from the driver as I paid my fare, but I hadn't done anything that I knew of. As dangerous as it was, I couldn't help but doze off. I had some weird dream, but I don't know if it's even a dream now. It was about me getting ready to go to sleep, but I was looking through the eyes of another person. Seeing it as it was a dream, I was more than happy to play along. I sneaked off, staring at myself, avoiding neighbors and the headlight of random passers-by, and I gotta admit, it was fun. Until a dog began to bark at me. He yapped constantly and it began to blow my cover. After a quick thought, I ran and grabbed the dog by the neck and slammed it on the ground. He tried to bite me, but I shoved a rock in his mouth, chipped a couple of teeth of his. His eyes began to bleed and become infected looking, but I ignored it in the heat of the moment. Knowing that the fight would alert everyone faster than the barking, I snapped the dog's neck. It let out a groan and decayed before my eyes. Creeping back to my house, I noticed I wasn't there. Instead, there was some figure. He was tall and pitch black, and it seemed as if light was being sucked in by his skin. His arms looked broken, and his fingernails were nails. 9-inch steel nails, stained with blood and rust, protruded from his fingertips. He had no real facial features, as if it was a blank canvas. His eyes were a soft blue, and glowed dimly in the dark of the house. He seemed more lost rather than menacing, like a child searching for his mother in the mall. I guess I lost balance and stumbled, making me fall over some wayward trash can. I looked back at the figure, and he slowly turned his head. His eyes quickly changed from soft blue to dark blood red, looking right at me. I was scared, but I froze. A loud tearing noise came as he opened his mouth. It was jagged and uneven, but bled profusely as if he was breaking away skin and muscle to open it. A hole that contained several hundred rows of teeth that were needles. His bones cracked and contorted, his body making every second more painful to watch. I ran from the sight as my legs finally left me. but it bursted through the wall with incredible speed. The creature screamed, letting out a piercing noise that sounded like a high-pitched dial-up modems and static. It made my ears bleed as I fell in pain. I stumbled, I staggered, trying to get away, but it jumped me and forced my head in its mouth. Suddenly I was awakened by the bus driver, who kicked me in the stomach and flung me out of the bus. I don't know what happened, but I was in complete shock. I went to a nearby dollar store and bought a cheap notebook to record my dreams. My name is Nathaniel Green, and I hope I can sleep soundly tonight. January 5th, 2011. I had another one of those dreams. I woke up in the middle of a dirt path around a dense forest. But for some reason there was a fog so thick the only way I could tell it was a forest was the fact that I was bumping into several trees. I looked around to see if there was anything. To no avail. Suddenly I heard a dog barking from behind me. I turned around and followed the sound and hurried with a hurried but cautious running, as not to trip on a wayward root or rock or something. I found the dog, which seemed like a normal black dog to me. It looked at me happily and ran away. I chased it down, seeming like it was the only living thing that could possibly help me. Suddenly, I tripped on something in my mad dash for hope. I went to check, on what it was, and I found a small black, but still incredibly interesting stone. It shined so brilliantly. I took it thinking it must have some value or something. I picked it up and I saw a figure of a man on a horizon. "Hey!" I yelled. He quickly turned around and looked at me. "Who are you?" I worriedly said. Suddenly I heard a child's whisper from behind me. "Death. He was always death." I spun around and saw the same black dog I was chasing, except it was covered in blood and had a rotted eye gouged out. And now I am Death! As its teeth sunk into my leg, I screamed and fell to the ground, and it began to drag me along the rocky surface, tearing away my scalp. I screamed and I shouted for it to stop. In an instant, the dog was scared and ran off. Unable to stand properly, I crawled away until I bumped into what I thought was another tree. I looked up and I saw those eyes. I quickly tried to stand up and run, but instead I stumbled around and fell like a drunk. The black creature walked up to me and began to cut my legs slowly, leaving me completely immobile. Not that I could move much in the first place. Trying to fight him off, I remembered about the rock in my pocket. I took it out and started bashing it in the head. It growled and hissed at me as the beast was dazed for just a moment. I stood up and bashed his head with a rock one more time and watched as his eyes slowly dimmed out. I sighed with relief and plopped my body on the floor with exhaustion and possibly blood loss from my legs. Then I noticed something was wrong. I saw a pair of glowing red eyes look at me from a tree in the distance. Then another from the left of me, and then 2 grew, and then to 10, and then 20. My God, how many were there? I screamed and begged for mercy, but the last sound I heard before I blacked out were multiple mind-numbing screams of the creatures as they were ready to feast upon me. My alarm screamed at me to wake up as I nearly had a panic attack. I decided to name the dark creature Pestilence, as it was the horror eating away at my sanity. I grabbed you as quickly as I could, and when I stood up to get dressed for work, my legs were cramped so badly I had to crawl. January 8th, 2011. Help me! I can hear them in the walls, scratching and tearing away at the walls. I don't know how they came in. There was a door. Just a door. Nothing special, just plain wood. I opened the door slowly, but there was nothing there. Just a wall. Here, walls, 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 walls. Oh, I'm sorry. What is this? Hello, book. Aren't you a pleasant sight? I love you. I love. Hello? Are you the one that pushed me into that wall? The goddamn wall? Who are you? Leave me alone! I don't deserve this! January 9th, 2011. They almost came in last night. I never did finish my story, did I? There was a wall. It looked like it was made from some sort of smooth material. It was incredible to the touch, and I couldn't believe I was the first to find it. Or at least I thought it was. Suddenly I heard a sharp sobbing. I spun around quickly and I saw a small child. He had long dark hair and he was wearing something that looked like a pink ball gown. Worried but still cautious, knowing this was a dream, I kept my distance, then turned to walk away, her sobs growing ever louder as I did. I walked long enough to find the door and rushed to see if it was a way out. Happily I swung open the door. But there was just that familiar silk-like material that was so soft, but now sort of a crimson red. I heard a faint groaning from the distance, and I felt something sharp trail down my back like a knife. "How dare you ignore me!" I turned quickly to see that the girl flying at me, giggling and laughing as I tried to run. She grabbed me and slammed me in the wall. I got up quickly. She was gone. I got up and walked to the door, still wondering what that even meant. I felt a force push me into the door uncontrollably. I screamed as I woke up, but was only in bed until I heard them. The low groan of pestilence surrounding me in my own home. Help me, please, help me. January 10th, 2011. That's it. I can't take this anymore. I'm starving and feeling faint. I hear them walking through my halls, scratching at my walls, knocking things over, breaking windows, but they're not coming in. I barricaded the door with a drawer, a night table, and my bed. I knew it wouldn't hold them back, but it just made me feel safer. They've not even made a single dent or hole in the walls that leads to my room. I know what they want. My wondrous notebook. My friend in this journey. I have a confession to make. I know why they came. I know why they picked me. It was New Year's Eve. I was at a party that was happening. We had closed a huge deal on some Victorian house near 8th Street. Oh yeah, I never told you. I work as a real estate agent. Regardless of that fact, we finally were going home. I drank a couple of shots of vodka and was almost finished off by some tequila that was being saved for less, so I was obviously drunk. Stumbling to my car, I had a car before last month, but it was recently stolen, and seeming what took like an eternity to find my keys in my pocket, I managed to put it in the ignition and drive off. I went through some of the roads I knew couldn't be occupied with cars or police, for that matter, in 1 a.m. Eventually I became very sleepy and just dozed off. I still don't know how long, but I woke up, sound of my car jumping around hazardly. I ran to the front of the car, seeing maybe I hit a raccoon, but this animal had a hoodie on. I panicked to see if the person was okay, so I grabbed the body to see who it might have been, to see golden hair in an unrecognizable mush of brain and skull. She was holding on to a leash where a black dog was attached, choked by the force I had hit her. I quickly grabbed the woman and the dog and put the bodies in the trunk and backtracked to the bridge. I went through on the way there. I wrapped the body in one of my car carpets and dumped the bodies in the river. The girl who slammed me into the wall, those creatures, that dog, it was my fault, so now I do deserve all this. I'll move these unnecessary objects. I'm sorry, whoever you were. Goodbye. Days later, a body was found in the net of a fisherman along the coast. The body, later identified as Alice Green, ex-wife of Nathaniel Green, and her dog Watcher were buried in their respectful place. May you all sleep soundly. Good night.